Hello everyone, welcome to today's YouTube Live. We've got tuning here, the Persian Oud tuning, C, G, D, A, G, and C. And we were just playing in Dastgah Chargah. Sorry, my voice. All right, so I'd love to hear where you're listening in from, where you're watching from, how long you've been playing the oud for, and that will help me see where to take this YouTube Live. Do you have any special questions, any burning questions about oud playing, or buying an oud, anything that you might have? Happy to get into it today. We're doing this for European time zones. It's early in the morning, Sunday. I have no idea who might be interested in showing up at this time. But nevertheless, I thought I'd give the European time zones some love. So here we are today. So some interesting things are happening these days. I've got an Iranian music course coming up well, it's already released. It's still being put together. I'm still in the midst of editing some of the final videos, but it's available for purchase and for enrollment. And the official launch will be this month, where it will be all up and ready to go. And yeah, I'm very excited about it because it's been how many years has it been now? It's been about 12 or 13 years since I started this YouTube channel. And most of the focus of this YouTube channel has been oud from the Arabic oud perspective or style. And but you may or may not know that I'm not really, I don't consider myself an Arabic oud player. I play and grew up listening to Persian music, and so that's where my my heart is. And so this course is something that I'm very excited about because we're going to be doing music from 7 regions of Iran, from the south, from Fars, from the Kurdish region, from the eastern region, Khorasan. And these folk melodies are absolutely beautiful and priceless, timeless to play on the oud, and they're fantastic. Yeah, so this course, I'm very excited about that. And also there's something that I haven't really spoken about yet, is that I'm going to be taking the channel into a different direction, and more of a Persian focused trajectory for the channel. And I'm going back to my roots and going to be bringing that out a lot more now, and that's more into my kind of style. And so if you're interested in hearing anything about that, I'd love to hear your questions about anything today. And yeah, so I'm going to be doing that more often, more Persian stuff, so you hear more Persian oud, and I'm very excited about that. Let's see, yeah, got some comments here. Yeah, great, good to see you here. Glad you joined those courses. Easy Oud Songs is a great course for especially for Arabic style learning. A really great course because you just get your feet wet into a lot of good songs that take a long time to get exposed to otherwise. And if you don't get into it, it takes a while to come across these fantastic tunes, unless you're already come from that cultural background. You wouldn't have heard those songs, so they're fantastic songs to learn on the oud. Yeah, so I'd love to see any questions. This is generally going to be a Q&A, and so you guys can take the lead and ask any burning questions that you might have, something that you want to know about playing the oud, any tips or any suggestions that I can answer, give you some suggestions on things. Be happy. So I'll let you guys think about some questions. I'll just play a bit of oud here, and then I will get into it. Alright, there's a question here. Can Arabic songs be played on a Turkish oud, or do they need to be transposed, especially for those easy oud songs, which I think are mostly Arabic oud? Okay, so let's say you have a Turkish oud, and you want to play the Arabic songs or songs that are in my courses. All my courses use the tuning which the Arabs and Persians use, which is C, G, D, A, and then F or G, and then C or D. So all you need to do is to tune your Turkish oud. If it's tuned in Turkish tuning, you need to tune all the strings one note lower. So generally that should be pretty easy to do. If you take your tuner and you usually tune your first string to a D, then you tune it down to a C. And you do that for all of the strings. Now the Turkish tuning, depending on what you tune for the bass strings, you may have to adjust that a little bit. Might not be exactly one step lower. You may have to do something different. Let's say you've got, what would this one be? This one is usually an F sharp, I believe. And got D, A, and then E, B, yeah, F sharp, and then C sharp for Turkish tuning, if you're doing the standard for all fourths tuning. So you would tune that down to an F, from an F sharp to an F, and then you tune the C sharp bass string to a C, just half a step. That's all you need to do in order to play those songs. Your strings might be a little looser than usual, and that might take some getting used to, but for learning purposes, it's great. Then you can later learn those songs and just go with it. Hi Alice, good to see you here. All right. So people have been playing for about a year. That's great. Nice. All right, in Canada. Nice. Okay. Cool. Starting to learn the oud from being inspired by Munir Bashir. Great. Okay. Yeah, recommendations to get an oud online. If you're in Canada, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to buy an oud, depends on also what your budget is. But if you're in Canada, what part of Canada are you in? The east side or west side, or somewhere in between? There's a Syrian oud maker who's got a nice organized oud shop, oud workshop where he builds oud. Okay, in the West Coast, there are a lot of oud players on the West Coast. It's possible to find one in Vancouver if you want to find one in person. In the east side of Canada, there's a Khalaf oud. I think it's called Khalaf. I gotta jog my memory. No, sorry, Palabiyik. We can go there. Palabiyik. Just search this in Google. They're a Syrian oud maker making ouds in Canada, and they make decent ouds and good prices, very fair. So you can get like a beginner oud, intermediate oud, a professional oud. Now Munir Bashir opens up a can of worms because his style is a bit different, and you kind of have to get introduced in the right way. But for starting purposes, you can start on any oud and learn the basics, and then later on get into Munir Bashir stuff once you kind of know your way around the oud. Once you know the basics, it doesn't matter what tuning you change to eventually. It's more or less, it's all relative. You just learn the basics first, and then you can later on investigate how to get into Munir Bashir style if that's what you want to do. I, of course, have my own courses, which are a little bit different tuning than Munir Bashir, but they will get you started on the general Arabic way of playing. So you could always start there with the Oud Foundation Program. Let's see. Any other questions here? Do I ever lubricate the oud strings, and how often? Yeah, you don't really. You can clean them with like a little bit of rubbing alcohol. You can do that. There's other things that might be possible. It's just that like for guitar, cleaning guitar strings and stuff, you might find some products, but you just got to be careful that the product you buy is not bad for the type of wood you have. It just depends. I don't really do much to my strings. If anything, after I play, especially if my hands get sweaty for whatever reason, I would wipe down the instrument just with a microfiber cloth, something like this. Just wiping the strings, especially where you play. Here, you may get some wear and tear from the humidity in the air, and this might cause the strings to rust a little bit. There's nothing you can really do about that. Those eventually you just have to change them when they are really in bad shape. So not much you can do there about that. So you can just wipe down the instrument once in a while, like every time you play. If that can help the strings last a bit longer. But like if your strings are over a year old or 2 years old, between a year and 2 years old, you may want to change the strings. these oud strings have been here a while on this oud, and you can see a little bit of wear and tear. But of course, I try to control the humidity in this area. You can probably hear the air conditioning in the background. But yeah, there's a little wear and tear on the strings here. This C string is rusted a little bit. And yeah, so there's not much you can do. You just have to change them eventually if it gets too bad. But I don't really change my oud strings that often, maybe like once a year or so. Unless I'm experimenting with something. The reason for that is that we like to have really worked in strings. We don't really like the bright sounding new string sound. And that's because we often want that warm sound. The brand new strings are very buzzy, very clean and bright. They bring out a lot of high frequencies, and sometimes that's not preferred on oud sound. So yeah, I would check out first the Summers B64. I would check out Craigslist, look for ouds there. There definitely are a lot of ouds being sold here and there in Vancouver. There's a Persian music store in North Van. I think you can find ouds there too. You can try, if this shop is still open in Granville Island, Gandharva Loka, you could go to Granville Island in Vancouver and look there. They don't often have ouds, but yeah, you could try that. Where else could you get an oud in Vancouver? Yeah, but check out Palabiyik, and you can also buy an oud online. I'm selling ouds myself. Depends on what your budget is, though. Like I've got a page where you can order ouds from me, but they're all shipped from Turkey, from the workshop there. Yeah, so it depends on what your budget is. Tell me what your budget is. If you need some extra help, always feel free to send me an email to support@OudforGuitarists, and I might be able to give you an opinion or something like that on any oud you're looking at online or something. But you might be, because you're in Vancouver, you might find something decent online. And there's a lot of ouds going around there. So yeah, check that out first, Craigslist, whatnot. So yeah, that's great questions. Let's see if I can offer you guys anything interesting. Okay, maybe because some of you are beginners, talk about tuning. So they're generally for Arabic style oud tuning. There's two styles, or two ways of tuning the oud. You need two different string sets. There's a high string set and a low string set. I've got the low string set on here. From a low C, this is C2, octave 2, and a C4 up here. The other tuning is F to F. This was C to C. You've got F to F. Usually, right now, my second string here is tuned to G, but sometimes you tune it to F for Arabic style. And then you have an extra high string here, a high F that sounds like this. So you've got F to F. So you've got an extra high string. All the strings in the center are the same as this tuning. So the first 5 strings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are going to be in the same tuning, but you've got an extra high string versus having an extra low string like I have. The technique and everything is generally the same between these tunings. It's just that you've got extra high range or extra low range. And these days there's kind of like 50-50. A lot of people nowadays are using F to F because you have a higher range. You can play all the notes up here much easier. But you get a bit of a different sound. You don't get such a low end in the oud sound. You get more of a high end, middle range. And then you lose this extra bass. Anyway, so Munir Bashir used the F to F style. And he used Iraqi tuning, so he would he had some of his strings backwards. He had his low string in the high string position, and it's a long story, but you can find a lot of information about that online. Like, I don't need to go into it. But yeah, there's generally two, and you gotta, when you get your first oud, you gotta know what strings are on it so that you know how to tune your oud. Yeah, children's size ouds. That's nice that your kids are interested. Yeah, there are some children's size ouds that are made in Turkey, especially because there's more of a market and more of a demand there. I have seen some Greek luthiers also make child size ouds, but if you want something affordable for a child size oud, then go to a website like salamusic.com or sultaninstrument.com. They have child size instruments, and you can find something that's affordable and much easier to hold for kids. So that's where I would go. I also sandy ouds in Turkey. You can Google that. They sell a lot of ouds from eBay and whatnot, so you can try that as well. They do have ouds that are made for women as well as children, so you can try that. They're also called zene or zan, like woman in Farsi. I'm not sure, that might be Arabic too. Zene oud, zane. So you can try that. Those are what they're called. Might not be, the zane ouds might not be as small as the ouds for kids, but you can definitely check those places out and find something. All right, so let's see here. If there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them. This scale here, I'm playing Chaharga. Chaharga is almost equivalent to Maqam Hijaz Kar in the Arabic tradition. We start on the note C here, and then we have, in Persian style, we have a D koron. Koron is our half flat or our quarter flat. So if you had D flat, you got to play a little bit sharper to get a D quarter flat. I usually play that with my pinky. So you got C. This is a hard one. This is actually one of the hardest scales to play on the oud, because you have a D open string and an A open string, but we don't use those strings, those notes. So you got a D quarter flat, E natural up here. You skip the open string there, and then you got an F, and then you got G, and then you've got A koron or A half flat, very sharp, and then you've got a B natural, and then C. You can also play with your third finger, second finger, third finger, if your finger can reach and hit that quarter tone. So the reason this scale is really hard is because you kind of have to change your position all the time. Right now, I differentiate between two main positions that you play on the oud. Position 1, where your hand is all the way to the left. Position 2, where your hand is slightly more to the right. So when your hand is in position 1, all the way to the left, your third finger is hitting the C note on the A string, right there. Now for Arabic Maqam Hijaz Kar, which is very close to Chaharga, you use a D flat, so you can use your pinky. That's no problem, right? Like, you can stay in the position and use the A flat, so you don't have to move. But the subtle difference between Hijaz Kar and Chaharga is that we use a D quarter flat, not a whole flat, and we use a quarter flat. So those notes are sharper, so your fingers have to go a little bit farther. So it's easier to start on C with your middle finger and then use your pinky to hit the quarter tone. Hear the difference? It's very subtle. So this sharp one, see how sharp that is? So I'm always changing from one side, from the second position to the first position and back in order to play this scale. So it's really hard. Second position, first position. Second position. So yeah, that's this scale called, or dastgah, chahargah. All right. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to cut it short today. And but let's see if you guys have any more questions. I'd be happy to stay for another 5 minutes or so and answer any questions you might have at all. And it's good seeing you guys here. I'm glad I was able to finally do something for European time zones. And yeah, it's great to see you guys. Thanks again for coming. So play a little bit longer, and then if you guys have any questions, ask them now, and I'm off. Question about learning music sheet music. Learning how to read sheet music is really easy. Sheet music is just a graph, and you have notes plotted on a graph. The notes that are low sounding. The notes that are high are placed higher are higher sounding. You can learn how to read music like completely from YouTube if you want. And so I highly recommend just trying to search on YouTube how to read sheet music. You can find tons of videos that will help you. You can find on websites, you can find tons of worksheets to help you get along in learning how to read music. It is so easy to learn how to read music. It just takes a little practice every day to do it. The consistency is key with it. But it's if you can read an alphabet, if you're literate, like you can read your own language and you can read music, no problem. And it just takes a little patience, and that's it. I would recommend if you're into Middle Eastern music, that you learn two systems. Learn the A, B, C, D, E, F, G method for note names, as well as Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Si, Do. In two systems, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Si, Do is generally used in Europe and the Middle East, and A, B, C, D, E, F, G is used in North America. Use those two systems. They're easy to learn, and it's not a big deal. Just go on YouTube and search away. Hey Robert, long time no see. Good to hear from you. All right, awesome. How do you handle ghost notes on the oud? By ghost notes, are you talking about, like, let's say, like stuff where you kind of pull off, or let's say you're going from G to F, like that? You got, if that's what you mean by a ghost note, I can't remember exactly off the top of my head the Western music term for like what it means, a ghost note. So if you can jog my memory, so you got to do like a very heavy hammer on. If I'm answering you correctly, you got to go from that. Just practice doing the hammer-ons. Throwing down your finger. So I would recommend that you, first of all, practice, let's say, go from G, F, E, D, C, and just play. So every note that you're going down, you're going to G to F. The second note, stroke the first note, and then hammer on the second note, and then stroke the same note that you ended on, and then pull off, and then stroke the next note, pull off, and then hammer on. All right. Thanks so much for joining, guys. It was great seeing you guys. Robert, good seeing you again. And last I saw, your instrument collection was getting quite large. I'm glad you're enjoying that, and keep it up. And yeah, so I'm gonna put a link first of all to where you can learn more about this Iranian music class. Actually, all my courses. You can check if you don't know my courses already. What I offer on my website for people who want to learn oud, you can check this out. So here are all the courses that I offer to get you started on learning how to play oud, more for the Arabic style. But if you want to, if you're already like a more advanced musician, or let's say you're beginner oud player, or intermediate oud player, and you want to dive into Iranian music, this is the course for you here. Check that out, and you can learn all about it. I'll have a video coming up soon about that, and you'll hear about it if you're on the newsletter. If you have any other questions, happy to answer you by email when I get time. My email address, of course, is support@OudforGuitarists.com. And if you ever have any suggestions of what you want to see on the oud on this channel, please let me know. All right, great seeing you guys. Have a good one. Bye.